Good evening, New Bedford guide. Chris Resendes back for the Chris Resendes show. Great couple past weeks I've had with some wonderful guests, and we're going to continue. Local celebrity Rev David Lima, the guy that helps no matter what it takes, whether it's opioid task force, suicide prevention, whatever. This guy's everywhere. We also have another local celebrity. Let me shut my phone off after I tell everybody else to shut theirs off. Nick Dompierre. Nick's gone from professional skating to fitness coaching to modeling. Guy's done everything. They're both here tonight, and I'm having technical difficulties with my phone, so just bear with me. As you guys saw yesterday, well, some of you might have seen, the video has gone pretty well. I started a new endeavor for the month of August. It's called Cuts for Kids. The response has been amazing. We got over 100 volunteers for August 27th, the one day before school. We have everybody from all these corporations, Citizens Bank, South Coast Hospital, to mom and pops and regular citizens offering their tables and canopies, barbershops, salons. I've got 55 emails that I went through this morning on people that want to help. It's just also funny that during my morning prayer, what came up this morning was Corinthians 9:7, which is, give as he purposes in his heart, not grudgingly or necessity. God loves a cheerful giver. And man, it couldn't be so relevant to what happened yesterday. There were hundreds of cheerful givers yesterday. Everyone involved is so happy, so willing to give, so willing to sacrifice their time to plant these seeds in the kids' hearts and see their smiles and build people that someday will also be cheerful givers. It's what we need to do. It's our obligation in a society to edify others and to help raise them and to make them feel better about themselves. We're all given special talents, and a lot of us live very blessed lives, and some of us don't understand what these kids go through. But a lot of you yesterday showed, and today, because more people came out today, that you're ready to help these people and show them the good side of life. And I really appreciate all that, and I want to continue this good wave of just charitable behavior that we displayed yesterday, and everybody's wanting to help and wanting to show love to these kids. It's pretty special. So whenever somebody tells you that you're in a region that is down and out and nothing good comes out of it, I can tell you one thing. Yesterday says everything opposite of that. We had hundreds of people reach out, photographers. Every single barbershop I went to said yes. Every single salon I went to said yes. People just donating pallets of notebooks. Literally, I got a pallet of notebooks donated. So, be a cheerful giver. Continue that. And I don't care if you believe or not. I do. And, this verse really hit me today when I was looking at it. And it really meant something to me. And it should mean something to you. Even if you're not a Christian and you don't believe, there's something to learn from this. And it's to be a cheerful giver. And do it willingly, and don't expect anything back. And it'll make you and everybody around you a better person. Tonight we're talking about something not so cheerful. We'll be discussing suicide and suicide prevention. A couple weeks back, I had somebody that I knew, a good friend of mine's brother, committed suicide. In the past, I've done a show on mental illness, but I sat down with Rev Lima right after this incident. I think I went to the wake, or the funeral, excuse me, this Saturday, and we met on the Tuesday or Monday following. And it really is something that, we need to discuss, we need to help each other out with. Nick has come across some people during his fitness training we talked about prior to the show that he helps out, that are struggling, and they're showing other avenues to relieve this stress through wellness. I try to get Dr. Mike Rocher on here because he does believe that wellness really is helpful in suicide prevention. And, but we get another fitness expert on here. We'll be touching upon that with him as well as his other endeavors. Rev Lima, thank you very much for coming on again. Last time was the opioids, and now we're doing this one, your other specialty.
We got to come up with something fun to talk about sooner or later. So I come here and I'm not talking about all these struggles, you know.
But it's not a struggle when you're helping people.
It's not a struggle, and well, it's not a struggle in terms of the desire to help. It is a struggle in terms of how to help, and that's one of the difficulties that many of us face. I'm actually been asked by a state organization that puts out a paper, a newsletter for quarterly newsletter for providers in the Commonwealth, and they asked me to write an editorial on this very thing, you know, on suicide and suicide prevention and awareness. I think that's one of the things that is always difficult because it's the one conversation nobody ever wants to have.
No.
It's the one conversation that most of us don't feel will ever touch us until it does. It's nobody really knows what to say and how to say it. You don't want to talk about people who have had people that have had a loss because that's private, and that's up to the family and friends to share what's going on. And for many, the shame and the stigma, which is it's detrimental to being able to help others, but the shame and the stigma that society does have about anybody with mental health issues, behavioral health issues, which can lead to suicide, drug use, substance abuse. You know, a lot of people that have substance abuse, it's because of undiagnosed mental illness.
Yeah,
and
there
they're self-medicating.
Yeah, there are many risk factors: depression, medical conditions, chronic pain, prior attempts of suicide, family history. You know, all these things that kind of sexual abuse, physical abuse, stuff that people tend to hide and run away from. These people that are candidates for this, you know, a lot of it has to do with past stuff that we all kind of keep compartmentalized and hidden away from others. We don't want people to see our demons. You know, a couple weeks back I did a little spiel like I did at the beginning of the show on all of us being broken. Right. Every single one of us here is broken. You got Nick, this, you know, Adonis-looking dude over here. There's something about him inside that's broken, you know what I mean? And you don't see it. That smile that he cracks, there's stuff that is inside of him that you don't see. There's stuff inside of me that you don't see. There's stuff inside of you, and you're a guy that's out there helping. Yeah. We all have these issues, and like you said, the stigma needs to be removed, and we need to just let people know it's okay. We're here to help you. There's a strong evidence that comprehensive approaches to, you know, getting people to talk about it and doing all this stuff, it's reducing the suicide rates. There are studies out there that show, like, the education, the more we talk about it, the destigmatizing it right. Helps these people to feel more comfortable with it.
Well, and the very thing, it's not that we'd be having a conversation. For any of these struggles that we have in society, it's not about just stopping that one particular thing. It's about helping people in general. About having relationship, it's about having connections. When a lot of people have struggles, one of the problems, I mean, who hasn't been depressed? We've all been depressed. I'm depressed sitting here next to Nick, you know, so that everybody's looking at the before and after picture, you know. This is difficult, you know. Next time you can't do this to me, you know. But one of the struggles, we all have depression at one time or another. You know, it might be a day or two or three. We all have anxiety at times, anxious about something that can sometimes feel overwhelming. Most of us have the coping skills to deal through that, but some people don't. Some people don't have the relationships, somebody that can care enough to be able to ask. Sometimes because we keep things bottled up and hidden, like you were saying, we don't, people aren't even aware of what's going on. They may think, well, this one's quiet, or this one's going through something. They'll get out of it. And of course, then there's society and how it treats people that are quote unquote different.
Crazy.
Hey, you know, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. You know, you gotta move on. You know, something happened. It's, you know, we all gotta overcome it. A lot of us can. A lot of us need assistance.
I mean, the numbers speak for itself. A lot of us can. A lot of us can do it. But there's also, 40,000 people a year, over that now, are committing suicide. That's one person every 13 minutes. That exceeds the death rate from homicide, AIDS combined. More people die from suicide than car accidents. It's a lot of stuff people don't even realize. Like, there's a struggle out there.
Well, let me give you a number that, let me give you a statistic that's going to really put you on your head. We hear all about the opiate overdoses right now. It is a scourge. You hear about it on the nightly news. You hear about it in our papers and everything else. Congress is trying to make change. The state is trying to make change. Our state budget right now is being held up because there's more work being done on the opioid bill that the state's coming up with. There's studies being done, everything else. In 2016, the last year we have certified numbers, 42,000 people died in this country from an opiate overdose. Okay? Heroin, fentanyl, and prescription drugs. That same year, 42 died of opiates, 45 died by suicide.
So it's still...
So stop to consider that. All of this that is being said and done about the drug problem, the opiate problem, and yet suicide exceeds it. Why aren't we hearing the same thing? Why isn't there the same urgency to help people? And I think, again, it goes back to the whole stigma around mental health and around just being able to have these conversations in the first place.
Absolutely. I talked to my last show, which was in October, and I talked to you about it. I reached out to South Coast Hospital and asked them to sponsor a campaign, I Am Mental Illness, and to have faces on one of their billboards monthly, kind of like our Faces of New Bedford, hashtag I Am Mental Illness. A guy like Nick, I'm not saying that you do, but like someone like, I got a buddy of mine who's sick, and he just is, and he's good shape, good looking kid, and he takes this medicine, you know what I mean? And people don't look at him as that, I'm sure, Nick, do you have any friends that suffer from any anxiety issues? You were shaking your head there for a second when you're like, hey man, everybody gets nervous, everybody does this. It seemed like we were pulling something out of you. Has it been stuff, did we just like make you think like, man, I get anxiety sometimes?
No, well, when you guys spoke about depression, and I've had my fair share of it. I went through some stages of my life that I've went through some deep depression, and that's something that many people won't be able to see. At one point in my life, I was one of the top skaters in the world, and I had tons of money, cars, everything. I had all these toys, but I was super unhappy with my life, and that's when I was like drinking a lot and partying a lot, and that was basically my self-medication to escape the life that I had to live with every day. So everybody has some type of mental weakness that they have to deal with and cope with.
And it's the truth, man. I try to, each week now, as my pastor told me, I try to sneak a little bit of the Bible into the show. He says, you're wrapping the pill in cheese like I do with my dog. You know what I mean? And the "We Are Broken" stems from a verse. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's the truth, man. All of us have been there. All of us have been there. My faith has actually grown so much in my deepest parts, and I found out a lot about myself, and I'm sure you did during those times. Now that you reflect back,
absolutely,
like, man, I was drinking, why was I doing that? And it probably led you to where you are now, and it made you grow throughout that process. But some people, as Reverend Lima said, that's the point where you either can cope with it and come out of it, or
the struggle. And again, one of the bigger struggles, because we can throw data around here all night long and drive the people crazy. The numbers, the statistics, all this stuff. But I'll give you the statistic that bothers me the most. The person that died. Then that multiplies. The family and the friends. The people that are left behind. Sometimes, again, society, screams how selfish they are, and, they made that mistake. But somebody who has contemplated and attempts suicide and may even die by suicide. For them, they're not thinking about others because it's the pain that's overwhelming them, whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual. It's that moment in time, and it's almost like a perfect storm moment. You know, we may have struggles, but then there's that one incident that pushes it right to the edge. And then if there's means that is handy, that's when somebody makes that impulsive decision. For many, it's an impulsive decision. And that's why if we can intervene just at that moment, just before that moment, we can help somebody and then possibly get them to whatever assistance they need, which it might be, as you're talking about faith, it might be getting them involved in church so they can see something outside of themselves and have the fellowship. Or as Nick, with the work that he's done, you got people that are willing to listen to you even while you're doing your training and all. People start to open up. It's relationship building. It's being able to listen to somebody when they're going through whatever moments they are. Because sometimes, because life has gotten so busy, we don't stop to consider what somebody may be saying. Because I'm already thinking about the next thing I've got to do, the next place I've got to be.
Too busy to listen.
We're too busy to listen. And
that's crazy.
And that's one of the things that we have to slow down a little bit. And society does keep us at a fast pace, unless when I visit my family in the South, sometimes I think I'm walking backwards. It's so
I feel the same way in Kentucky. It takes me like 3 days to get a coffee when I go visit. I go to a Dunkin' Donuts in Kentucky, and it feels like I'm going to like Mars on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It takes me 3 days to find a Dunkin' Donuts in Georgia.
It used to take me the same amount, but they're moving.
But
do you find that people like go to you and like when you're a trainer now, everybody? Nick, we're gonna get into his story a little more in the second half of the show. But I want to keep him involved before he just walks out and says, man, I got nothing going on in this part of the show. When you're training, do you find that people are paying you at times like, man, I don't think they're here to work out. I think they're here to have a friend or to talk. Do you find any of that when you? Yeah,
well the thing is, like with my online coaching that I do, it's more done through like Skype or email. So I don't do like any in-gym personalized training. But when
there is still technology involved in you're interacting with them.
Yeah, there's still like interaction. But like a lot of clients come to me and they want to get into shape. They're unhappy. They're basically living this unhealthy life, and they have some form of depression or some form of like body dysmorphia where they're uncomfortable in their own skin. So they come to me for training and nutrition, but it ends up turning into like almost like a counseling session, which I'm not a certified
but you're a listener.
Yeah, absolutely. And I use basically my past and my struggles from what I've been through, and it's very relatable. I can understand where they're coming from with being unhappy with their lives. So I design a training and nutrition program for them to follow, and it's basically like guiding them through it, and as they start seeing results, they start feeling better about themselves. They're more driven, they're more focused to keep moving forward because they actually can see the progress that they've made, and it's almost like they're coming out of this depression and actually enjoying their life and being able to do what they want and look better, feel better. So it keeps me driven to do what I do to help other people.
Absolutely, man.
There's no like better reward than the feeling of change in someone's life.
I'll tell you what, yesterday as when I started the show off, I said, how great it was to see everything. Man, I've been working my butt off for this for the past like couple of days, but you know what, dude, it just makes you feel great when you see like other people, like, man, I inspired somebody to do better today. You inspire somebody to do better today. You do it. You've been doing it for years. I told him, I said, that's like the sensei right there of New Bedford of helping people. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to do something like you someday, and just be known as somebody who tries to help and be a better person. Have my kids grow up and say, I want to be like Dad. I want to help people,
But I think it's important, something Nick said, I'm not a professional counselor.
Yes, very important.
All these things like this and the work we do with opiates and everything else, I'm not a professional in any of those either. But why are we able to make a difference? Why can you make a difference? Or anybody in the audience, anybody listening, Nick, why does he make a difference? Because you care about that individual you're with at the time. And if we start to listen, start to care, start to be there for people, even if it's just a little more than what they've already received, then they have someone that they know cares about them. And you're not anybody's savior, neither am I. Neither is Nick. We can't save, quote unquote, people. I mean, you're talking scripture. I live scripture, at least I try to. And I know the ones that I break all the time, that I'm trying not to do that, you know. So I may be a sensei to some, but to many, I'm still working on myself as much as I am.
And you're gonna do it until you hit the ground, buddy.
But the thing is we need to recognize that if we feel overwhelmed because of somebody that we're working with, don't give up. Get somebody else involved. Get other friends. Get family members. If we have a concern about somebody, we talk about it. Say, hey, you know, Dave, I talked to him the other day, and, you know, he was pretty down. Have you noticed it? And then somebody, hey, you know, I did, but I didn't have time to, you know, I thought it was just a phase. Well, he's been going through it a little while. When we start talking to one another, caring, not gossiping, caring, all of a sudden we start building a network that saves lives. That's the key to everything we do.
100%. Now, I had brought this up and I wanted to discuss it. You're active on social media, as you are, Rev Lima, and I am too. And this whole thing kind of flipped itself on me. You see those people online, right? And I talked about the highlight reel. You go on my Facebook, it's like a highlight reel. My wife takes all those beautiful pictures of my kids that look like her, because I'm one ugly dude. Luckily the kids take after her. And then that's it. But that's my highlight reel. I put it out there. But now here's the antithesis, is the people that always got their drama on that page. And you're like, oh, he's complaining again.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe this dude puts all this on Facebook. Take a step back and think now. They're crying out for help.
Sometimes that's exactly what's going on.
You know, they're crying out for help. For them to put that out there, you know, once I really started thinking about this and the We Are Broken, and I looked back and I reflected, I said, dude with the drama all the time on Facebook, he's crying for help. You know, this whole time, instead of saying, hey, you see Thing again? He's posting, he's going crazy on Facebook. I should have been like, hey, man, are you okay? You know, do you have any friends like that you look at their Facebook and you're just like...
Yeah, some people. And it's like, there's only so much you can do. You ask, like, how you doing? You okay? And unless they're ready to make a change, you know, it's...
And that's the other part. Yeah, if you reach out, but I wasn't even reaching out. Like, I'd catch myself, and I hate to admit this because it's as wrong as can be. I'm sitting here, and this just proves that I'm just a broken dude with a lot of issues that I need to fix. But I'd be like, man, this guy's nothing but drama. I looked at it that way rather than like, hey, man, this guy needs help.
Again, society has taught us, we've learned, that sometimes it's easier to judge people than to care about them. And when we see something that is not normal for us, sometimes we talk about it in a negative way rather than trying to understand where it's going. The one thing we never know is what somebody's going through. We just see the results, their behavior and everything else. But everybody's going through something. And like I said earlier, many of us have the coping skills to get through it. It may take us a few days. I love my wife. We'll be married 38 years this coming month.
But do you like her?
Well, like I tell my church, I love my wife. She means everything to me. At times, though, I don't like her. Yeah. And I know there are times she don't like me.
Oh, come on,
because
really?
Oh, jeez. You know, because of the behavior that's happening at that moment, because of the things that are occurring. But that's not the person. That's the moment. And if we help people through those tough moments, then we help the person.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. This is nothing new, suicide.
No.
Luckily, for shows like this, that we're going to try to bring it out, you know what I mean? It's something that we can bring out and talk about more, you know? We should destigmatize it. Our friend that we spoke of, his brother, who I'm friends with, brought a shirt out and wore it and said, hey, I want to destigmatize this. And we had talked about that months ago when I tried doing the I Am Mental Illness, and that's going to happen, campaign. I want to just get rid of it. Like, you know what I mean? We do it for everything else. Why still have the stigma? I mean, suicide goes back to biblical times. Judas, the famous Judas, killed himself. You know what I mean? And I mean, That's the most famous suicide there is, you know, and it's in every book across this world. You know, it's there, you know, and but we got to find different ways now and evolve. We have the technology for it. We have to reach out to people, and we have to form networks of people that want to listen and help. What are you working on with the Suicide Prevention Collaborative that does something like this?
The Greater New Bedford Suicide Prevention Coalition.
Coalition.
Our local New Bedford group. We have a web page that people can go and look at. It's GNB, Greater New Bedford, gnbcares.org. And you'll have a lot of information of what's going on, services, resources, things like that. For us, the biggest thing, because we're all volunteers, is just trying to raise awareness, have the conversations, help train as many people as possible. In probably the last few years since we've gotten started, I've probably averaged, with members of our group, we've trained at least 2,000 or 3,000 people a year in suicide prevention. Being able to raise the awareness of the signs of suicide, what somebody may be going through, because though letters are left behind in only 20% of suicides, they usually, people that are contemplating suicide, whether it's right there in the front of their mind or behind it, there's usually some signs, verbally, physically, things that they do, things that happen that might at least raise the awareness of something that might be occurring. And so we try to help raise that awareness. The training that we do is called Question, Persuade, Refer. There's a lot more deeper training. In fact, we're about to do a training for the New Bedford Police Department. I'm bringing in training. It's a 2-day, all-day training that's called Assist. But this one I do for any organization, any business. I've gone as far as Quincy to do them. I do them all over the city. We've done them in the schools. It's called QPR, Question, Persuade, and Refer. How to question. First, it's signs. Then how do you question somebody? Because it's not an easy conversation. You don't just go up to somebody and say, hey, are you thinking about suicide? But
you say that, but I have a friend that I just come right out and ask him that all the time.
Well, that's what we're supposed to do. But for many people, excuse me, for many people that's a very difficult question. And here's one question that you don't ask. Are you thinking of hurting yourself? Because if you ask that question, the person could legitimately tell you, no, not at all. Because they're thinking of ending the hurt. They're already in pain. And so when you're asking them if they're thinking of hurting themselves, for them, that's not it. It's the fact is suicide is a permanent solution to something that can be assisted. They can be helped. And that's proven by the data. And I hate data, but it is proven. And so we try to raise that awareness. We try to have those conversations. This year, one of our focal points is going to be around veterans. We're going to be doing
Mission 22.
Yeah, there's an average of 22 veterans that die a day.
Yeah. Our friend Don Williams just did the Mission 22 pub crawl.
Yep. And the thing is,
a little bit of drinking to raise some money.
When you stop to consider that number, we're talking soldiers and those that have left the service. We haven't lost that many people on the fields of battle in the last decade or two, but we're losing them here. We're losing them to mental illness. We're losing them to suicide, depression, different things that they're coping with, and there's not enough being done. So we need to raise that awareness.
I got a question from a friend of mine. She's a great person. Her husband's a wonderful person. You probably know Colton Simmons from Faces in New Bedford, and his lovely, lovely wife, Katrina. Both Colton and I married up. We'll both admit that one. Katrina asks how Colton and her would be able to be a part of the Suicide Prevention Coalition, and how could they get the training for this?
I've met with Colton. We have had a discussion. They can contact me anytime they want, and we'll see how how to get them involved, what it is that they'd like to be involved with. I think that's one of the things that we're always letting people know. If you go to the website and I believe there's a place where you can give us your email so that you can be on our listserv whenever there's any kind of training, either one that we're doing or anything that's being done from the state, federal level, webinars. I always put that out to the listserv so that people can connect to them. We're able to get a lot of people into different trainings, and sometimes a lot of these things are free. Sometimes there is a cost, but with our group, we've been able to raise money at different times, and we sometimes are able to scholarship people into the trainings. So
something you should look into, man. You can, just so you know what to look for when you're. Is it something that you may be interested in? You might pick up something on the side while you're.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already pretty busy, but it feels good to help people.
Busy is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him now since last year. He's like, I'm in Florida, I'm here, I'm there. We got a jet setter here.
You made it though.
Yeah, dude. Thank you. Appreciate it. 7:30. You know what time that is, guys? It's pay the bill time here at the Chris Resendes Show. Saturday, July 21st, Rebecca Career is performing with guest Jacob T. Moses from 8:30 to 11:30 at my favorite restaurant, the Cask and Pig. Mario over there always has some live bands. Rebecca is awesome with our special guest Jacob T. Moses. You can also hit the Cask and Pig for happy hour, where plenty of good food and some good drinking. Stop by the Cask and Pig, and remember, folks, support local businesses that support shows like this that help your community. Thank you again, Mario, and we always appreciate your support. You ever eat there?
Once, a long time ago, like around when they first opened.
I love that place, man.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's just a different atmosphere, Mm-hmm. Through like Portuguese and barbecue in the middle of, and with that beautiful decor. The place is done top notch.
Yeah, it's real good.
it is, very much so.
You like it there?
Obviously more than I should. Again, sitting next to Nick, I'm going to leave here and go find a salad. So,
Well, I'm glad. I lost some weight too. Come on, man. I don't make you.
Yes.
You're gonna come with me. I'm gonna get you up. I've been going to the gym, Nick. New thing, getting up around like between 4:30 and 5 every day.
Okay.
And really getting at it. I really feel like if you start the day off that way,
mm-hmm.
there's no missing it.
It's out of the way.
Drink your pre-workout because you're not gonna go back to bed after you do that.
Yeah. Consistency's key, man.
It is. And that consistency goes along with what we're talking about.
With everything.
It is with everything.
Consistency is everything. A few years back, I actually lost 110 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
That's a third grader.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Wait, did you find him?
I found about 2/3 of it back. So it is.
Well, you said the bad thing. You said you lost it.
Yeah.
You got to shed it.
I got to shed it. Yes. Well, I did, and for quite a while I was actually holding my own. But again, we all have different coping styles. Mine is food. I'm telling you right now.
There it is.
Sometimes and there's not a whole lot of stigma with food.
It should be. I'll tell you what, Mike Rocha will make you feel like there's stigma.
Yes, I know, and that's where Dr. Rocha and I will sometimes have a friendly battle. When we have things that we're trying to, a gathering that we're trying to bring people to. One of the things that everybody comes to is food. And I remember when we were doing the opiate drop-ins, the first one. I said, well, I can, we've got our friend that always will give us pizza, and so we can get a load of pizza down here. And Mike was like, no, we got to do healthy, and so he got a local business that does all the natural food, prepares local food perfectly, and we had all this incredible food. And including pork chops, that was the protein that was there. And I remember they came in,
the other white meat
that came in for help, and they're lifting this, and they see all that, and they see this, and they saw the pork chops, and they walked out carrying the pork chops, just eating them like a sandwich. You got to meet people where they are.
Absolutely.
But so now Mike understands that pizza may need to be on the menu, but he brings the Lipitor.
Yeah.
So, you know,
How about, have you ever met Dr. Mike Rocha?
I haven't.
He does all the wellness stuff around here. He's like the guy. He does the wellness walks. He does the farmers markets downtown. I mean,
yeah, does a great job.
he does. You should definitely hook up with him, and
Sure.
well, he should hook up with you. It'd be a good combination, I think. You know,
Yep.
you'd inspire some people, and I think it'd benefit both of you.
Cool, yeah.
So let's get to a little bit of, we'll go back and forth because I have a feeling I'm going to run into some stuff that you say that's going to touch back upon the suicide stuff. And we're going to finish off with a little more talk on suicide because I want to talk about the franchise and what they're offering and the money they're going to raise for suicide, the coalition that you are head of. And Nick, you started off as a professional skateboarder. When did you start that, bud?
I think I turned pro at the age of 19.
Pro being like, all right, here you are, a kid in Fairhaven?
Yeah, so, all right, well, it all started when Livesey Skate Park opened up.
Yeah.
So I was like 12 years old, and I saw kids over there skateboarding, and I would ride my bike over there, and I was like, oh, man, this is pretty cool. So then I started using my cousin's skateboard, and I'd go to the skate park every day, and then bring it back to his house after school. Well, I mean, after I was done skating, the next day I'd go back to the house, borrow the skateboard, and just skate all day. And I just became obsessed and like super passionate about it. And then like it was my dream to like be a pro skateboarder. So I just kept skating and kept trying new tricks, getting better. And like, you know, like I said before, consistency is key. And I was consistent. I skated every single day. And then I got sponsored by like Solstice Skate Shop, and then you know, I turned amateur, and then I had sponsors from different companies in like California, like Real Skateboards, Spitfire, Thunder, Audio Shoes, and then went through the whole amateur competing, and then before you know it, I turned professional, had my name on a board, had shoes, clothing, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, it was pretty.
So you're like
cool.
Mike Vallely style, like you had it all like him, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty
Just
cool, man.
Any YouTube videos of you knocking out 5 dudes like he does?
No. I knock out donuts, but
Yeah.
I don't fight.
Mike Vallely, that was my first real skateboard.
Yeah.
At the barnyard when skateboards went double concave.
Yeah.
That was my first one. I lasted about a week, man. I got scars to prove why I lasted a week. I didn't get. I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. Let me give me my basketball back. So you go from an amateur to a pro, and you at a very, very young age, 19 years old, and you got T-shirts and billboards and everything else that comes with it.
Yeah, it was
the fast life.
pretty wild. Yeah, it just happened so quick, and like I just wanted to skate so much. But when I was in high school, it kind of kept me away from being able to travel so much because I had to be in school. But I did graduate, and then once I graduated, it was like I was gone. I was just traveling the world, doing skate demos, contests, and filming for video parts and stuff. So it was pretty wild, yeah. I've been around the world a bunch of times, like Germany, France, Switzerland, Australia, Canada. I've been to a lot of places, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's been a wild ride.
It's you know, when you think of skateboarding, you don't like think of somebody with all those opportunities that it brought you.
Absolutely.
And you met a lot of people too along the way.
I have a lot of friends.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
So now fast forward, you know, you're going through your career, and when did you stop professionally skateboarding?
Well, when I turned 21 years old, I actually quit drinking at the age of 19, and that's when like I went like full on, like skated so much. Like I didn't really have like a drinking problem. Like I would just go to parties like friends normally would when you're young, teenage years.
We're at that age.
And I went to like a party, got like drunk, and then the next morning I'm hungover. Everyone's trying to go skating, and I'm just like throwing up outside. I'm like, I'm sorry guys, I can't go. And like in my head I was just like, I can't go skating and do something I love because I drank alcohol last night. Like how stupid is this? So I was like, I don't need this. So I just stopped, and then like from 19 to 21 was like my best years of skateboarding. That's when I turned professional, and I was competing. Like every magazine you would pick up, I'd have like a bunch of photos in it. And then when I turned 21 years old, that's when I started drinking and partying. I could go to bars, and then from 21 and on, like I was still skating and I was still competing, but my career was starting to slowly take a dip because I was becoming very unhealthy. The easy tricks were becoming hard. My body wasn't recovering fast enough, and it just kind of kept driving me deeper and deeper into like a hole to where like I started becoming depressed. I was very unhappy with my life. Like I was one of the top professional skateboarders, but now like I just kind of look at myself. I know what I'm capable of doing, but it's like I can't do it because like I just don't feel good. My body's not trained like it was. You know, I was always hungover all the time, and it just kept going deeper and deeper into like a darker hole. And then in 2011, I broke 2 vertebrae. I broke C6 and T1, and that's what basically transitioned my whole life into like this fitness world.
Now, did you hurt yourself skating?
No, I'm just drunk on Long Pond, tubing, stupid stuff, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your career went down, the booze brought you down there, and then finally the final nail in the coffin of your skateboarding career was this injury.
It was, yeah. So like after breaking my neck, like I went through like physical therapy, and then I was starting to really like it, you know, like strength training, getting stronger, and I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And then I started going to the gym, and then started like seeing changes in my body, and I was like, wow, this is like, it was like the skate park again. You know, I go to the gym and it's like going to the skate park for the first time, and I was just like, whoa, it's a whole new world again. And I just got very addicted and obsessed with the gym, and then I started learning more about like nutrition and training, and then tracking macronutrients, and then like changing body composition. You know, like I got like extremely shredded, you know,
it sounds to me like you got this personality where once your mind is sober and on a straight path, that you just attack it.
Yeah.
Strong. Rev Lima, when was your turn? When was your time in life that you hit that point and you just turned your life into a different direction, like he did? You went from this Reverend Lima to this Reverend Lima. Do you have that point like he does?
Probably. I mean, and I haven't always been a reverend. That happened probably in my 30s. Although when I was a young man, I announced to the family that I was going to become a priest. My father asked me years later why.
It's a little different than nutrition, huh?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I a priest? And I said, well, Dad, I discovered women, and you know, those grandchildren that you love, they wouldn't exist if I had. But anyway, I digress.
That's actually a clip I'm going to use about. I'm going to play that one on you.
Okay.
You discovered women, and that's what stopped you from being a priest.
That's the one. That's the one we want out there everywhere. That's the only thing we want. No, I think one of the things that for me, when you're in the ministry, you're always helping people. It's not just about preaching and teaching about the Bible. It's about applying. It's about relationships, and it's about trying not only help people to understand, as Nick has said earlier, about he believes in a higher power. For a lot of us, that higher power is the Christian God. For others, it's other things. But the bottom line is, for me, it was Jesus Christ. It was the Lord. And I always had a faith, but I wasn't always necessarily active in it. And then as I got older and I got involved, with my wife, we actually had that moment in time where we dedicated our lives. We accepted Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, but even then, it was still the struggle. I worked for a supermarket for 12 years. I worked for a quick lube franchise company that we kept selling franchises, and I was helping get them open and everything else. But we helped start the church that I'm actually pastoring right now back in '84, and for the longest time, it was the work life, helping at the church, and raising the kids. That's what all of life was. And I finally went full-time in the ministry in '93. And then but it was just pastoring that small church that we have out in East Freetown. And it's been going ever since. It's always gone strong. But then somebody asked me about getting involved in the community. They were going to be starting something called the Regional Community Congress. AT&T, when they came into the area, gave the local community leaders, they said, look, we'll help fund something that will help transform the city. you know, what do you want to do? And they came up with the idea of the Regional Community Congress, and basically it created these network streams. One of them was faith. Probably one of the only things that's sustained. It did get thought of, designed there at the Regional Community Congress is the AHA. AHA came out of that idea. But that got me involved in the community.
So that was your turning point?
That was, because now I'm getting involved and learning about what's happening in the city. I mean, I've lived in the city all my life.
But you didn't know all the secrets that were here.
Well, the thing is because most of us are only involved in that thing that we need to do to sustain our life. We go to our work life, we go to if we go to our church life, or if we go to our, you know, other things that we do like fitness or something else. We go into those places that we're in, and we don't necessarily see everything else.
That brings me to this point now with you. I just left off with you saying you get on these straight paths, man. Skate or die, man. Remember that? Like, that was your life, man. Yeah. And then now it's like macronutrition. Do you ever just branch off, man? Or is that just the way you live? Like, you have to just keep that straight road?
Yeah, well, like, the thing is with me, like, anything I do, I just get basically obsessed with it, and I want to be the best that I could be. You know, like when I started fitness, obviously there's always going to be people that are bigger than you, always going to be people that are stronger than you. But for me, like,
when it comes to fitness, that really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's all about being the best that you can be and really seeing how far you can take yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so there's always room for improvement, and there's no end point. You know, it's like, oh, you know, people are like, oh, like, you're in great shape, you're already shredded, and it's like, no, like what you guys see from the outside, it's like you can just, you know what I mean, you don't look at your body like, obviously I look at my body every day and I can tell when it's changing, or it's like, oh, I need to improve like my delts or this muscle group, you know, but somebody else can look at you and be like, oh, you look great, you know what I mean, but it's like, we're our own worst critiques, so it's like something that really keeps me motivated and driven to keep improving myself.
Now, when you improve yourself, you're also improving the other people around you as well. You know, a lot of people don't realize that the more you look within, it goes back to we're all broken, and you try to fix yourself. If you do so, you're also helping others around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you continue to work on yourself, when you continue to better in your industry, when he does better in his ministry, it benefits others around you.
Yeah.
Now, have you evolved as now in your training aspect? The evolution of that, how does that go? So you start off with this guy that's just getting in shape and learning these macros. How did you get to helping people?
Well, like, basically came down to, like, when I first got, like, shredded and had, like, crazy washboard abs and all that, people reach out to you and they want to know what you did. How did you do it? You know, so
how many people ask, did you do steroids?
Oh, yeah, that comes out all the time.
Yeah.
Any time that you, like, have a great physique and people be like, oh, I could do that. You know what I mean? If I took steroids, I could look
just
like
inject yourself and no work involved.
Yeah, and it really comes down to, like, having a good diet, you know, and yes, it's like there's a lot of dogma out there, like, oh, eat chicken, rice, and broccoli. This is what you have to do. You have to eat salads. But, like, my whole approach to, like, dieting, you know, I have, like, it's called flexible dieting. So it's like you can track your macronutrients and you can fit different foods in that people would just look at and be like, oh, no, I can't eat that. I'll get fat from it. You know, at the end of the day, it's almost like a numbers game. It's science.
Weight Watchers?
Yeah. Yeah,
they get points for everything?
Like some type of points or whatever. It's almost like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's almost like a counting game. But this style of dieting, you can basically eat whatever you want. You know, I preach having like an 80% clean, nutritious, wholesome diet. Eat fruits, eat vegetables, eat lean quality protein sources. The other 15 to 20%, you could have some cookies or a little bit of ice cream. So you fit it into these numbers, and you can still make good progress and lose weight or bulk up, build muscle, whatever your goal is. But it comes down to hitting those targets at the end of the day.
That's going to be a clip that plays and going to get you a lot of messages, bud.
Yeah,
because I want to know how I can eat Oreos and hang out with you and get some abs. Josh, what's up, man? Can I get that pack of Oreos in the back? He's going to show me how I can eat them and get these abs I've been searching for. Now, when you're helping these people, let's get back to, you know, I'm glad we get to talk about your success. But the beginning of the show is an important topic, and I want to tie this, people reaching their goals, into the beginning of the show, which is the suicide. When you how do you work on these things to help people? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to. Do you understand what I'm trying to get? Like, trying to tie his. I want to know how you can guide people and show people through fitness, through nutrition, that they can better their image and make themselves feel good. Like, is that something? I've asked you this before, but do you really find yourself like talking to people, like you said, body dysmorphia and stuff like that? A lot of your clients coming to you like that. Do you ever have those like thank you stories and, man, you've changed my life, man.
Absolutely. Like, I do have a lot of online clients, but I do have a lot of people that just follow me for the free knowledge that I put out there. Like I use my Instagram story every day, and, I document my progress. I let people know what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, how my body's changing, and it's just basically free information and free instructions to help them. And, I'll get emails here and there asking me, oh, what should I do? And, I'll send a little paragraph, and, a couple months later, I'll get an email back from somebody, like, oh, like, I listened to what you said, I really want to thank you, you've changed my life, so just even like a couple sentences or a couple words can go a long way to help somebody.
Now, someone said you do a cheat meal video.
Oh, yeah.
They love your cheat meal videos.
My cheat days, yeah, that has gotten like a lot of traction on my YouTube channel. So I started my YouTube channel to do like instructional videos, full days of eating, showing people how I track macros and how I eat what I eat to stay in shape. And so I started out with doing fitness videos and like the full days of eating. And, it took kind of like a long time to kind of grow and just get out there. And so like in February, I started just doing cheat day videos. So once a week, I'll do a cheat day where I eat whatever I want, like donuts, burgers, pizza, tacos, cookies, ice cream. I'll eat.
Is it all day?
All day, full day, from the moment I wake up till I go to bed. So it'll be like, anywhere from like 6,000 to 8,000 or 10,000, depending. And
calories?
Yeah. Lately, like I've been dieting, so I
mean, that sounds crazy, but that's like literally like 3 Five Guys burgers.
Yeah.
And you're at like $6 grand right there.
Yeah, those things are very calorie dense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like basically, like I started doing those, and like because it's fun, and then I saw all the traction that I was getting, and now it's like my YouTube channel went from 9,000 subscribers in February to I just hit like 37,000.
Because people want to know how the hell they can eat.
Yeah, so what's really cool,
9,000 calories and get ripped.
Yeah, so it's really cool because like a lot of people just want to see people eat food or do food challenges and watch them suffer, but it's like this whole audience that I've built, like they're basically genuine followers. They like me as a person because I give them value, I give them information, I tell them what I'm eating, how much I'm eating, how I structure my weekly balance to balance out the cheat day, so that way I'm still hitting my fitness goals. And
you want to know what they like about you? You're passionate about what you do, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone that's passionate about what they do sells.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to like,
there's no
I talked
bullshit.
to a kid this morning talking about that HGH gel everybody's trying to sell online.
Yeah, somebody hit me up about that to like.
I'm like, bro, you try selling something, religion, fitness, my show, helping, doing stuff, but you're not passionate about it, and you're not, and people see through that you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. No one's gonna follow you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't just build your thing because you're trying to sell snake oil.
No.
You're passionate about what you believe in. I'm passionate about my show. I wasn't for a while here, and it showed. You know what I mean? It showed. I wasn't putting my heart into it. I really wasn't working at my craft. I wasn't studying people. I wasn't talking about stuff that people wanted to listen to. I didn't really believe what I was saying. I was coming here just like, and now, but that's what you have to do. Mm-hmm. So the reason why I'm saying the whole HGH thing, I'm like, dude, why are you selling this? For $1? Mm-hmm. Do you believe in it?
I mean...
No, I'm not saying you. I was asking him, like, do you really believe in that stuff, man? Because if you do, sell it.
Yeah, and is that something you're going to do for the rest of your life?
No.
But
it goes back to what we're talking about, helping people. Mm-hmm. If you really want to help somebody, Rev Lima wants to help people. It's obvious. He's helping people. You're going to help people. You're going to attract others that want to help people. You're going to attract. That's why your fellowship grows, man.
You get what you give. Like I give out so much positivity, and I get it back.
Absolutely.
People just like, thank you for helping me. Like you're such a positive person. Like you just like these little messages I put up here and there. It's like, oh, I really needed this today. You changed my day. Like, thank you. You know,
it's nice to get the monetary out of the YouTube channel, but it's also nice to get that, man.
Absolutely, yeah. There's, like I said before, there's no better reward than the feeling of helping somebody. You know, you can get all this money, but it's just money. Money comes and goes. You know, it's like
going back to Bible, what he just said. I did money is a great defense. What verse is that? But so is wisdom is a better defense. Or they're both defenses. When you die, you can't die with your money, man. But you can pass your wisdom on. You know what I mean? You can.
Absolutely.
That's why these 90% of these lottery winners are broke. You know what I mean? Because they're not.
It's not enough.
It's not. Yeah, it's just like it's easy come, easy go,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
You worked for it. That's pretty awesome. I want to get back to wrap up the show a little bit here. Back to the suicide topic. And we're raising some money. The franchise group is offering these T-shirts made with their keeping it 100. There was recently a local individual who took his own life, and he wasn't happy. And we're going to put the link up, Josh, if you could find the franchise group Keep It 100 shirt. If you want to throw that up after. You can buy your shirts, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, John took his life, but he was one of the nicest people we'll ever meet. And he comes from one of the greatest families we ever meet. And they're a family that had a lot, but they never showed it that way. You know what I mean? They're the most genuine people I've ever met, such good people. They're amazing, and it's a shame. But we can use his tragedy to raise some money. The family has been very, very good about letting his tragedy, raise some funds for you. You want to touch upon that fundraiser and what it means to you to have a family of such a...
Well, again, that's something that is probably better coming from them, but
Yeah.
but they, like others, when they have suffered a loss, they for a while it hurts, and it's something that you don't necessarily want to remember that person. You don't want them remembered for only that event that's happened. That's how sometimes people do remember people. They get stuck in that moment in time. But when you listen, and like for this individual as well as for so many that I've been involved with the families either before or after, you realize that they had a tremendous life, but for whatever reason, that one time something occurred, and they made a decision that is difficult. And so what happens is, a lot of these families, they want to leave a better legacy. They want something, they want a remembrance, and they want to be able to make a difference. And that's what they've done with this, and they informed me of it. But I'm not involved with it. But we've already seen some income that's come in, and like I said, for us, as with everything, everybody that works in the field of suicide prevention, there's very little resources. This state actually is one of the only states in the country that actually puts money to these resources. So these trainings sometimes can be costly because there's few people that actually have learned to be able to do them. And I looked into one. It was going to cost a couple of $1,000s, and I had to go to Canada to learn it. Because that was the closest training that was coming up anytime soon. And so I didn't go. But the things that I have been able to learn, I share. So, and then when people are going to learn, not just, the one we do that I talked about, the QPR, that's free. And I'll go anywhere to do that, to any group, small or large. But there's other people that want to learn that much more. And so being able to give them some scholarships so that we can get them into those trainings is important. Then, creating whatever material we are to, again, raise that awareness, make people aware of what's going on, to be able to put on some kind of program like we're going to be doing with the veterans this fall. Being able to educate even the professionals, the people that are in emergency services, that visiting nurses, people like that. They come into contact with folks all the time but don't necessarily know how to work with folks that may be considering suicide. So being able to get that training to these folks is important. And that's one of the things that funds like this can help with so much.
Any other fundraisers that you're currently conducting, or is there any way that any of our viewers could get in touch with you to donate some money for the cause?
The website that I talked about,
again,
GNB Cares, all right, GNB Cares, CARES.org. There is a place there where you can donate, and it goes directly into it. And the one thing I will tell you is that 100% of anything that's given goes right into resources. There's nothing taken out for administration. All the work that we do is volunteer. The council that I work for, the Interchurch Council of Greater New Bedford, has seen this as a vital, the work that we do in this is vital. And so they allow me the time to do it. And so that's one of the reasons why it's become a major focus for us with that ministry.
Excellent.
And so, yes, everything that comes in does go to help somebody.
Besides this, I know you're involved in everything. Quick,
A few things.
Quick 30 seconds. Anything else coming up that you want to share with the audience?
No. Wasn't quite prepared with some dates, but there's always, with the Opiate Task Force, there's the drop-in centers that occur, and there's always people that can get help, resources, mentioning places like Learn to Cope that happens every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock at the White Home. That's the building, the brick building on the way to the emergency department at St. Luke's. They're peer-to-peer support, and they're one of the best at helping families understand how to help a loved one that is in the throes of substance abuse. There is a Facebook page for the Greater New Bedford Opiate Task Force. People can go on there and be able to catch a lot of information there. And then I chair the Homeless Service Providers Network for the city of New Bedford. And we have New Bedford Connect coming up in October, where we will, last year we had 48 organizations in and around the city that work with helping the homeless from a variety of different venues and ways.
Told you did everything.
So that's, well, you know, and what I've seen is these three things, sometimes they're all tied together.
Absolutely.
And so
comorbidity is real.
So being able to help folks where they are is the important thing.
Nick, it's your turn, buddy. Plug away. We already listed your Twitter account. We already linked in your website, YouTube, and Instagram. But what's coming up with you? I know you got some model shoots coming up. Any new ideas with what you're up to with sharing with your YouTube channels or anything else? I know you just started this cheat day thing, which I am going to check out instantly. I mean, 6,000 to 8,000 calories, donuts, and I didn't know that existed. Honestly, I didn't. You blew my mind.
You haven't followed me around. That's
you do the 6,000 to 8,000. I ate breakfast with you the other day.
I do not do 6,000 to 8,000.
Man, the guy had a green. I don't know.
You know, this is aggravating me. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm getting depressed just sitting next to this guy.
He had a Greek omelet.
It was
actually
6,000
to 8,000. You know,
they want to know.
Yeah.
So I'm just continuing to focus on my YouTube channel. I travel back and forth between Tampa and Boston for modeling stuff. So if there's like a job up here when I'm in Florida, I'll come back up here for that. But gratefully I'm able to work from my computer wherever I go with all my online coaching stuff, as well as if I just have my video camera, I can film my cheat day videos. I film and edit all my own videos and all my own content. So it's been nice to just really build my own empire and just.
It truly is. I mean, with that many followers, I mean, it's awesome. And it's, you know, it's a testament to your hard work and your dedication and your focus, man. You found a desire. You had faith in yourself.
I'm on it.
And you have consistency. I mean, those are all the recipes to get your ultimate goals. Again, audibly, tell us all your contacts, what pages you're on, and all that stuff, man. Your Twitter handles.
Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. It's all my name, Nick Dompierre. as well as my website, nickdompierre.com. And if you go to my website, basically all my information's there. I do have like cheat day shirts for like all the YouTube subscribers. Like anybody can go on the site. Like I have like these Gut Donuts ones, and then Team Big Bites, because I have this whole movement going with people send me all the like their videos on Instagram and taking like big bites out of donuts, and they tag me and send it to me, and I share it on my story, which is pretty cool. So it's cool to see something that was just fun turn almost into like a business and a job, and I really enjoy doing it.
That's excellent. Excellent. And if you're enjoying it and you're dedicated to it, I mean, there's no other. That's not a job, dude. That's life. That's the ultimate goal of many. I'd like to do it. I love that story, and I can appreciate how you've evolved. After tonight's episode, we talked about something serious, mental illness, and you actually touched upon a little depression, man. You gonna incorporate tonight's experience into your YouTube? So you're gonna talk about like, hey man, I actually talked about something serious today. Like, any of you guys out there, reach out. You know, can you do me a favor and just say, check on your buddies. Make sure everybody, you know, we're all going through stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Enough followers like that, you could be able to maybe help somebody yourself just on this, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. That's one thing I've never actually touched upon is like suicide awareness. But like I'm always putting out a positive message or anything I can do to help other people. And I always get a lot of responses back from just, you know, people from the Instagram story or even like YouTube comments. Like it's crazy. I get like 800 to 1,000 comments on a video, and I reply to every single one of them. It takes a long time, but that can go a long way for somebody, you know. But yeah, I would definitely like to, you know, just even mention this about the show coming on and really put it out there how serious this is, and just a couple words can go a long way to help someone. I had done a show on suicide in the fall, like I'd mentioned, and I wanted to do the I Am Mental Illness, but today it punched me again that, you know, more people die from suicide than from anything else. Mm-hmm. You know, it's crazy, and a lot of these gun statistics that a lot of it's suicide. Most of it is. You know, these 26,000 murders a year, like, well, deaths by firearm. Most of it's, I think 2/3 of it's suicide. Mm-hmm. So it is crazy, and it's a big issue. Man, anytime you want to come on. I'm gonna go, Josh, dude. I think we're gonna kick these guys out and watch one of these videos on how to eat like 6,000 calories, and we're gonna have to get that lunch. Oh, you already know it. Josh has got you covered, bro. Next time you need to figure out 6,000 calories, check on him. He'll cover you. It never happened if you didn't film it. Everyone, again, reach out to somebody. If you get that person tonight that you know is struggling, I know who I'm calling after the show, and I hope you do too. I've said this a couple weeks back. As soon as this tragedy happened, that I knew the person involved. Hey man, how you doing? I'm here for you. We love you. We see that you haven't been around lately. Any of that stuff. If you're thinking that they're in a bad place, most likely they are in a bad place. Reach out to them, say hello, be a friend, be kind. All the links are here if you need some extra knowledge. Rev Lima, as usual. You need someone to lean on if you're trying to get fit and you're not happy with the way you look, and maybe that's what's holding you down and being depressed. Check out this guy right here. I know I am. I've been working my butt off lately at the gym, and I think I'm doing it wrong, and I think Nick has a new client. You're still showing up, though. That's all that matters. Man, every morning, every single morning I've been getting up 4:30, 5 o'clock, getting to the gym every day. That's half the battle. And like I told you, man, once you take that pre-workout, there's no going back, dude. Yeah. There's no going back, unless you want to just zip around the house, and I don't want to do that. Yeah. My wife will kill me. Again, everybody, thank you for the turnout yesterday as far as volunteers. We still need more. We do need more. I have over 100 volunteers. I have a pallet of notebooks that got donated. It's been amazing. We got corporations, every single barber shop in the area. Maid Barbers is the ones who started this all off. And Joey's idea has evolved. There hasn't been one shop that I've gone to. I went to Uppercuts, yep. I went to Paid Durham and the Hair Village Design, yep. All these places, United Barber, King Cuts. Everybody's just come out. Rob Roy Academy. I mean, it just goes on. Napa Auto Sales, Citizens Bank. I can keep going and going, and I will. I will recognize, because no good deed
should be not seen. You know, I want people to be recognized for being part of this community. I want others to be inspired by good deeds and good, you know, compassionate gestures towards others in our community, especially children and elderly and all those that are afflicted. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your viewership as usual. Nick Dompierre, Rev David Lima, two guys who are passionate about what they do, and tonight should have inspired you to be passionate about what you want to do. God bless. Thank you as usual. I'll see you next week. Next week we're recording on Monday. Josh needs a Thursday off, and next week is going to be the owner of New Bedford Guide, Mike Sylvia, and we are going to ask any question about New Bedford Guide, how it started, why we let the trolls on the comment section, whatever you want asked. Send me a message and we'll get it on, and you get to learn about what happens in New Bedford Guide, and you're going to find out why I got a show. Thank you very much, everybody. Again, God bless. Thank you. Be kind and give cheerfully.